Hey everyone, it's Bethany. In this video, I'm going to share the brand new release from Concord and Ninth. They did send it over for free for me to create with, and I'm going to share everything that's in the release and some cards that I've made with some of the products, and then we're going to make one together today. So everything that you see will be linked down below in case you want to shop any of the supplies. Let's go ahead and see what is in the latest release and then get creative. Okay, so for this whole new release, I decided to make all of my cards with one color palette. So I did watermelon, I did the brand new color pistachio, that is a brand new color that has just been released. I also did sprout and nectar. So I wanted to base this whole collection off of the same color palette. So we will circle back to these pieces of cardstock in a little bit when we make our final card. Okay, one of the items in this month's release is this Friend and Hugs die set. I love it because we have the letters, but we also have the shadow layer as well. The font is super fun and nice. And so what I did, again, using that color palette, is I did some paper strips and then I cut them out with the shadow layer. And then I did a lot of layering with, I think, 2 or 3 pieces of cardstock in that white to just make it really nice and bold. I love how that turned out. And then I just finished it off with some gold disc sequins and it turned out so fun. So there is that, and I'm going to link everything that I use down below for you. Now, this is so neat. So this is a great variety of sentiments that you can stamp all at one time. It has the coordinating die that's going to cut them out all at once. I did go ahead and do this for the first time on just white cardstock with black ink, and I'm just putting all of these little sentiments in the container so they're all ready. But again, you stamp once, cut once, and you have, I didn't count, but so many fun sentiments. These are so nice to have because once you have them all done and put in a little container, then it makes for very quick card making because you can have them all ready to go when you need to create a quick card or just add a final touch to one. So that is another fun item in this release. I cannot remember the name of this stencil set, but this was so fun to create with, and I'll link it below. And using the same color palette, but with the coordinating inks, I created this full panel shaker card. I also did pull in that Hugs die, and I did not use the shadow layer because I didn't want to cover up all of that fun color from the stencil, but I love how that turned out. It's so fun, and there are a total of 4 stencils, so it was just so beautiful to put together. I think that layering stencils make for very quick cards, so if you want a quick card, a layering stencil is a really fun way to do that and bring a lot of color in very quickly. The next item in this release is the paper posy set. So we have these dies, and I think there is even one on the back there. A very, very fun variety of dies. They also have an embossing folder, which is really fun as well to add some texture to those flowers. And then they have the stamp set, which is really fun because I like smaller sentiments. It's really neat to have an option like this. And I love that they have the paired fonts in here. So we have a script and a blocked font all paired together. And there are such a variety of different sentiments. So we have happy birthday, thank you, love you, may the year be the best one yet, and even more. So those are really neat. So that is all one set. I love that. And so with that collection, I went ahead and created this card. I had a really fun time with this card. So what I did is I took a white panel of cardstock and I used the leaves just to cut out the outline. And then what I did from there is just bumped it up and put some green cardstock on the back. I thought it created a really fun look, and then I was able to create even more dimension with all of the flowers. I loved how that turned out, and the pop of the glitter in the middle is so neat as well. And then again, I really love a small little sentiment. I think it makes it very clean, very simple. It's just very pleasing to the eye. The next item in this release is the Birdhouse blossoms. This is a really fun set. We have a lot of fun dies. Then we have a very fun stamp set. We have some arch stamps or curved stamps, which are really nice to go in this little curved banner. And then there's also a really neat embossing folder to make a fun birdhouse with some texture there. So Very, very fun. I decided to do something a little different with this one. So I am going to show you a card that just picks certain elements of a die set to create something completely different. So instead of doing a birdhouse for my card, what I decided to do was focus on some of the really fun flowers and greenery, and then I went ahead and used that curved banner to kind of tie it all together. But I had a lot of fun with this, and then I used the coordinating ink in the nectar just to create a little glow of a background, and I blended just kind of a little oval shape in the back. It added a little something, and it just made the card really nice and soft looking. So I loved doing that. I love being able to look at a set and pick out different elements to create something that's very different. So it's always a fun little way to challenge myself when card making. Okay, another thing in this collection is the tiled turnabout. If you haven't done a turnabout stamp, they are so fun to do. I have a video tutorial on how to do so, and we also have some coordinating dies as well. Now the tiled turnabout, I'll show you. If you just did one turn, this is what you would have. 2 turns gives you this look, 3 turns, and then 4 turns. And then if you are confused, again, I have a whole tutorial on how to do a turnabout stamp. They're really, really fun. And then there are some cute coordinating dies, and they're really fun. So we have some for the greenery and flowers, but we also have this thanks with a shadow layer, and then the hello with a shadow layer as well. So I had fun with this. Again, I picked just a simple stamp from this because I wanted to create something completely different. And what I did is I decided to do a little bit of repetition with a pop of color, and then I brought in the thanks die with the shadow layer to create my sentiment. So I had fun doing this. I just created a stencil out of cardstock, did a little overlap with my squares, and then I did some embossing with the stamp on top. Just a really fun way to do a quick and simple card that only uses certain elements of a stamp set. Okay, and then the last thing in this release, which we are going to use to create our final card, is the pattern play die set, and it comes with a full panel die, which I love. And in fact, I did use this to create the background for the first card that I showed you. So that's one way that you can use this cover plate. I love all of the shapes that we have going on here, so it looks really fun if you wanted to do it as a standalone. But what we're going to do today is they also have some additional shapes that you can cut out to do some fun things, kind of paper piece if you'd like, within the card. So that's what we are going to do today. So here is what we have so far. Again, I'm going to use that same color palette of watermelon, nectar, sprout, and pistachio, and we are just going to have fun creating this final card. All right, I am going to go ahead and get all of my supplies ready. Again, everything that you see in the release will be linked down below, and then I will further link everything that I used to bring the card together down in that description box too. If you click on the title of the video, that box will pop open. That way you can see everything and you can shop for things that you either are inspired with or things that you need to add to your craft room. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on the final card. Okay, so the first thing that I am going to do is I have my larger die cut machine here and ready to go because I'm going to cut out that cover plate first, which is essentially going to be our template. So I'm going to grab that right on out. And it is an A2 size, so it's the exact same size as an A2 panel, and A2 is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So what I'm going to do is just center that. I'm going to place it at a diagonal just so it runs nice and smooth through my machine. Let's add the top plate here, and we'll just roll that right on through. I love a good cover plate because, again, they are nice if you want to do just a fun textured background, but they're also really fun if you want to take it a step further like we're going to do today and do some layering with some other pieces. So here is what we have so far. Isn't that neat? Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to get my littler die cut machine out, or smaller. Is littler a word? I don't even know. I'm so tired, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But I'm going to get my smaller die cut machine out, and we're going to figure out which pieces we're going to need out of which colors. Okay, so let's get the small one out because it gives me more room to work with. And then I am going to bring these pieces in and my cardstock. So what I want to do is I'm going to look at what elements I want to do, and I'm going to pair them with the colors that I want them cut out of. And one thing I'm going to focus on doing is I want to kind of have the color cascading down the side of the card. In fact, I'm going to do it this way because I'm seeing a little opening here that doesn't have anything, and I'm going to use that for my sentiment. So I'm going to do this way. So I know first and foremost I want to do this. I'm seeing that shape here, and okay, let's put that there. I'm trying to see what else I want to bring in there. Okay, and I'm also going to bring in this one. Okay, so I'm going to do that out of my first color, watermelon, and we'll cut that out. All right, so normally I would make all of those cards that you saw earlier, I would make them all live for you so that you could see the actual card build, but we just got back from an 11-day family trip. We did a very fun road trip, and we had such a good time, but my mind is just jostled right now because, see, I'm losing things already, because while it was so fun, it can be so tiring to be away from home. So I feel like I came home from vacation and now I'm trying to recover from it. I only need one set of these circles, so I'm only going to kind of have that die just off of that paper. It doesn't matter if it's all the way on for this one. Okay, so I'm gonna cut that out, and I want these to pop up really nice. So what I think I'm gonna do is, oh, these are all together. Ooh, I like that. Okay, that's really neat. So let me put all of these to the side. Okay, put these over here and here. Let's look at our template once more. So I have this. I think I'm gonna go down and over. So we'll do this, and ooh, I like maybe this combination with the texture. We'll do that out of the nectar. Yeah, that'll look good. And I'm going to do something like that. And I only need 2 of the other ones, so I'm gonna trim that down and save some cardstock. Okay. Okay, but yes, I'm getting back in the groove of things, and I wanted to make all of those cards live for you, but it was going to be just so much time after traveling to be able to edit all of that in time for you. So I did some nice binge watching of TV behind the scenes while I made those cards, and honestly, it was a really great way of recovering from being on vacation. Oh, that cut off a little bit. You know, it might be okay though. Actually, I'll probably recut that out. Okay, I like that textured piece. That is really neat. Let's run, let's see, in fact, I can just do it right here. I'll mend that really quickly and cut that out. Let me know if it takes you a little bit to get back in your groove after you haven't been crafting for a little bit. Sometimes usually I'm crafting every day, and if I take even a week off, sometimes I just have to really get back in my groove. It's like, I don't know, learning to do it all over again. I'm ready to be back, but sometimes it's hard. Okay, now let's do, oh, so one of these openings could be just this kind of block of rectangle, this kind of solid rectangle here. So I am going this, gosh, that's really neat. I might leave it kind of, well, hold on, how am I gonna do that? Maybe I'll grab one of the rectangles there, and also we'll do this again. So we'll go like this, and then I'm thinking we'll go down. I think that's how it's gonna work. Okay, so let's do this time the sprout. just need a little bit. Okay. And there we go. Now, if you are wanting to make some quick cards, one of my biggest recommendations, and you will have seen it demonstrated in this video, is pick a single color palette and just go with it. Sometimes I feel like the act of choosing colors for each card can be something that really slows me down. So when I'm wanting to do a lot of cards and get a lot of cards completed, and I find that it's better if you just find a color combination that you really, really love. And I've done it a few times when I have been playing with new releases. I'll just find one color palette and base all of my cards off of it. It's just a really fun way of making quick card making even simpler. So just something you might want to tuck away if you are wanting to do a card making marathon, but do it in the most efficient way. Okay, and then I'm going to do this and this little stitched rainbow. That is so cute. Okay, let's do that. So here, and let's do this. Okay, let's trim that down just a hair. I don't like using more cardstock than I need because then sometimes the cuts on my cutting plate will imprint into my paper. So I don't want to use more than what I'm cutting out so that I can keep my cardstock nice and fresh. Okay, so this should be our final cut. And I think I'm going to probably trim my cardstock down next just to get an idea for what I want my margin to look like. Okay, and our final pieces. And I think I'm only gonna need one of those rainbows. Yep, okay. So that was all there. We'll move these to the side. All right, now let's go ahead and trim this down a little bit. And I know that I want to, let's see, I have this here. I have it going pretty well to here. So I think I can take off, I'm going to take off 1/4 inch off of the right side. So I'm going to bring that down to 4. And then I'm going to do off of the, actually, and then I'm going to do 1/8 inch off of the top. We'll split it. We'll do 1/8 inch on the top and then 1/8 on the bottom because I don't want to lose all of those circles, but I also don't want to lose all of my stitched rainbow. So I'm just going to take a sliver off each side so it all ends up being, let's see, it'll be 1/8 inch margin all the way around. Okay, but then I am keeping the integrity of most of those shapes there. All right, so before I put this on a card base, I'm going to put all of my elements on. And this is where I want to bring in some dimensions. So I'm gonna bring foam squares, and I'm gonna bring in a couple different sizes. So the first shape that I have, and I'll also probably utilize some tweezers just to help. In fact, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my adhesive here. That way I know how to position it so that it doesn't come off the cardstock this way. Okay, so then I'm just using that stitched outline of the cover plate die just to place these on. Okay, now the reason I put that foam square onto the card panel instead of the back of the shape, on this one at least, the rest I will probably put onto the actual shape that I'm doing, is because then I don't accidentally put it too high to where I'm gonna have adhesive, because I will end up cutting these off. Okay, because we want them to all be nice and, let's see, I'm gonna do this smaller. We want them to be all trimmed off with the edge there. Okay, so let's do this, and then maybe take scissors and trim half. Okay, that way we have this and that. All right, and let's bring you nice and close. bring off all of the little liners like that. And then with my shape, just line that up. Place that down. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. In fact, with this one, because I don't want it to sag down, I'm going to use, I have a variety of a couple shapes there. Okay, that should be good. Right. Place that there. Okay, it's looking really good. I am going to go ahead and let me tape my cardstock into position here. That way it just stays put while I'm working. And I'm going to go ahead and just continue placing my shapes and kind of deciding where everything is going to go. Okay, so there is the look I'm going for. Now you're probably thinking, why are you leaving a gap there? Because I'm gonna do a sentiment there. And so it just doesn't make sense for me to put anything there. I'm gonna let it just be nice and bare. Okay, I'm gonna use the hello sentiment that is from the tiled turnabout set. Before I do that, what I wanna do is trim these off. So I'll use that. I think that'll be really fun. Okay, let's go ahead and remove all of this. Now I'm trying to decide if I want to just snip it off with scissors or if I want to put it through my paper trimmer. Whoops, wrong way. Let's go ahead and bring in the paper trimmer. Okay, do you think I can handle that? Oh goodness. Sometimes it can be a little, actually, should I just do it this way so that the rest of it's flush? No, that wouldn't be wise at all. Okay, let's do, that looks straight. Yeah, okay, that's working. I just like a paper trimmer if I can. Okay, and trim. Okay. Just a little bit more. Okay, and then that little guy at the bottom. You absolutely can just freehand with some scissors if you'd like. Okay, but there, now it's all nice and trimmed out. That looks awesome. Now let's go ahead and cut out our sentiment. And I am going to do, again, I'll do the hello, but I'm going to do it in a nice gold, just so that pops. Okay, so bring this back in. For my shadow layer, so my shadow layer will be something like this, which I actually like that because it's not covering up too much, but the ones that it is covering up, in fact, I could move it over a little bit too. Ooh, I like that. It's just a rectangle is kind of the biggest one that it's doing, so you still get the idea and the shape of it. I'll do this out of a white, and I'll probably do this 2 times, and I'm also going to cut out a couple layering layers out of my white for my hello. Okay, there we go. I also should tell you I'm guest designing for Concord and 9th this week over on Instagram. So every day, me and a couple of other designers are going to be creating with the new release and sharing our cards. So if you want additional inspiration on what other creators are doing with this new release, then be sure to hop over to Instagram. It's a great way to get some inspiration on other things that you can do with these products, and it's so fun. So hop on over there and follow along. We're having a fun time. Okay, so again, I'll do one more hello, one more shadow layer, and then I'm going to bring in some gold for my final top layer for that hello. Okay. Do you like my card?
Yeah.
All right, I have it looking like that so far with some color, and then I'm going to put my sentiment in here. Do you like that?
Yeah. What's
Okay.
it for?
It's just a card just for any occasion because it just says hello on it, so you could do it for whatever you'd like. What do you think? I'm going to do the hello in the gold.
Are you videoing?
Mm-hmm.
Am I in it?
Yeah, you want to say hi?
Hi.
All right, so I'm going to finish it off something like that. So I got to get to gluing.
Okay. Good night, Mom.
Love you. Okay, now I have all of my layers all cut out, and it's time to start gluing. So once again, I'll bring in some tweezers just to help. Okay, I got the approval from my daughter that this is indeed a cute card, so we are good to move forward. She has really taken to card making and loves like learning new techniques and fun things, so she's always loving to see what I'm doing and seeing how she can replicate it next time she gets some crafty time. Okay, so I have 2 layers. You can add more if you'd like, but I'm going to stick with the 2. It's just going to give a tad more of a bump from the even more raised shapes that are in the back, which I think will be just fine. And then I'll do 3 layers for this hello. And I do the 2 back layers just in the white because it's easier to layer. It's really difficult, if not impossible, to layer glitter on glitter. Maybe some of you have figured it out, but also it's kind of doesn't really make sense to waste the glitter on just the supporting layers. So I always just opt for a white. Hi.
Lulu's gonna see.
Oh, Lulu wants to see?
Yeah, but bring her up when you tuck me in.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna take her? Bye, Lulu. Night, kiddo. I usually don't do any crafting until after my kiddos are in bed, but tonight, especially after being gone for 11 days, I asked my hubby if he would take over bedtime so that I could just get a jump start on getting these videos done. And I love that they want to come say goodnight. So fun. Okay, so here is the little hello. Love how nice and thick that is, so intentional. And then I'm just going to attach it to my shadow layer there. Okay. While we were on spring break, we did a ton of driving, and I, in the end, read 9 books, a mix between physical books and audio, but I took all of that driving time and put it to good use because I had a lot of books that I had kind of kept on my kind of save for later list, and it was so refreshing to go through that list, and I loved so many of them. Okay, so let's just get that nudged into position. Doesn't that look so pretty? I love that, and I love a nice script look for a sentiment. So we have, again, that thanks and the hello. It's just so pretty. And then we're just going to place it right here. So I'm going to add, okay, how am I going to do this? I'm going to add a foam square here. Yes, and a foam square here. And then because I don't want to miss where to put this, I'm going to put it right there. Tuck that one right on the card base because that way it fits perfectly in there and I don't have to position it on the back of my die cut. Okay, and then I will just plop that. Oh, you know what? I had it over, didn't I? A little bit. Let's see. Let's do that. I like it. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's get this on a card base. Put the little pin back in my glue. I will grab a 110-pound cardstock. This is sized at 11 by 4 1/4. So I'll place my score right in the center at 5.5. Fold and press down. Okay, then let's grab some foam tape because even though we have quite a bit of dimension going on, I still want to pop up my panel to have a little bit of differentiation from my card base. So I'm going to add just a few strips to the back here. Okay, there we go. And then, I don't know if I have shown you these yet, but I got these bars. I love them. Instead of just having the, I think they were called like pawns. They were just smaller magnets. Now they have some bars that I don't know if I'm just late to the game or what, but I was, for some reason, looking at their site the other day and I saw that they had new little magnet pieces for the mat, and I love the bar. It is so nice. I was always having to put 2 pawn magnets down, excuse me, to have it not shift, but the one bar seems to work even better. Okay, now I have my card panel, and I'm trying to decide how I want to finish that up. I got a little bit too much foam tape on this side. I'm just going to trim that off. And there we go. Okay, that looks so fun. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, I don't think I want to do a gold disc because I think it will just compete too much with the gold glitter. And I'll just see if I'm right about that. Would that compete too much, or would that be fine? Or I can bring in a nice neutral dewdrop that just adds a little bit without distracting or competing. I think I will do the dewdrop, but it really is a toss-up. Both would be so pretty. I just like that the dewdrop doesn't compete. It adds that final bit of embellishment and fun without making it feel like too much. So let's do that. I'm going to grab a sequins wand and get the sizes that I need. So I will do a trio to the bottom left. Next, let's just add our glue. I'm going to add the duo here. And then I'll add the trio there. I think that will look very nice. Okay, so let's put these 2 here, 2 and 3, 2. Okay, see how it's just nice and quiet, but it does offer just that tad bit more that I'm always kind of craving at the end of a card. All right, there is the final card. I love how it turned out. It's so simple, but has a fun pop of color. I love that the background still is quiet, but it has a fun texture. We still have white space while it's still very interesting. Okay, and then again, here are other cards that I created with items from this release. It was truly very fun to play around with all of these brand new products. I'm so grateful that I got to guest design this week and use all of their fun items from their release to bring some really pretty cards to life. So be sure again to pop over to Instagram so you can see what other creators are doing with all of these new products. Everyone always does such a beautiful job. I'm always so inspired. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching. Again, everything I used will be down below. I'll see you in the next video. Time for me to go say goodnight to all my little ones.